I'm admitting. Welcome. Hi, Doris. Hi, May. Happy Thursday. So excited to see you again today. Libby is joining. Doris, good to see you. We are going live right now. And thank you for joining me again today. I'm sure people will be rolling in the next minute or so. I am super excited to talk about improving your body composition. And this is such an important topic today. I have a special guest with me today, Frederick Hahn, and I will introduce him shortly. But before I do, I just wanted to say that improving your body composition is such a key factor in terms of weight loss. And it's a very important measurement to actually see if the work that you're doing in terms of nutrition and um, and food is actually working. So, um, so this week we went over defining a new vision of paradigm of health. So really having an unstoppable body means really being able to have no limits, right? And to be able to align our daily efforts to our goals and to synchronize our well-being in all aspects of our lives in terms of the nutrition we have, in terms of, hold on a second, I'm just letting.
Hey, Tina, I want to interrupt you for a second. We only see your picture and the screen, but not your face live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
No worries. I just thought I'd let you know. Okay, yeah, you're back.
Can you see me now? Okay.
Yeah, we can see you now. You look fabulous.
Good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I had that.
No worries at all.
Okay, let me see. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And again, May's back from Malaysia. Let's everybody give a thumbs up to May. Give a woohoo, because she's up at 1 o'clock in the morning joining us. It's crazy. It's like, May, you are amazing. And that says so much in terms of your commitment and your desire to really make your health a priority in your life right now. And so we just so appreciate you and we praise you and we just love you up for doing what you're doing, May. So I love that. I love your smile and I love that you're happy at 1 o'clock in the morning, but hopefully you are getting your rest when you do, okay? So let me begin. So again, unstoppable body, that's what we're here for. What does it mean? Limitless, having alignment with our big dreams and our daily efforts, synchronizing our mental, emotional, rational, spiritual, and physical well-being in all aspects of our life. We want to have an unstoppable body where interference from the world around us, the chaos and the stress and all the craziness that's happening right now in the world, in our personal family lives, in the macro environment, are not going to interrupt our center and our goal in terms of really wanting that unstoppable mind and body. That's what it really means, not to be able to be swayed by interference. So, okay, let me just, I'm continuing to admit some people rolling in here. So welcome, Teresa. Welcome, Mary, Libby, Carrie, May, and Doris. Thank you so much for joining again. And again, you have the power to change the script. And your DNA is not your destiny, but your lifestyle choices are. What you eat, how you move your body, and how you live can actually change the script completely. And where you are in your midlife, in your 40s, 50s, and 60s can actually be turned around in terms of any kind of illnesses or welcome, Lisa. Glad you could join us from Utah. And so how you move your body, how you eat, how you live can actually change the script completely. And we talked about the 3 pillars of optimal vitality. And it's an intuitive brilliance model, is about nourishment on and off the plate, being able to manage our habits and retrain our habits, not from the past of what our comfort zone is, but actually redesigning our habits so that we actually are able to train our habits to support our future and our mindset. That is such a huge component to it. And Tuesday we had Kristen Mashonas talk to us about mindset and really being able to get back to our center, get back to a sturdiness in our center is so important in terms of really having an unstoppable mind in the midst of fear, in the midst of chaos, and all of that. So I'm so happy that you guys have been so diligent in joining me throughout the week. And just a little housekeeping. Make sure in the Make Life Delicious group page that you are actually putting in your daily actions, because tomorrow we're going to put this game plan together so that you have the next steps to actually go in and know what to do on a daily basis. And these are important questions to really be able to think about and take the time to journal and take the time to declare it to the world so that your intentions become a part of why you are doing this. So all right, again, what will your health look like 20 years from now? What we do today is going to extend the vitality of our life and help us to slow down that aging curve, right? And that we can actually defy a lot of factors in terms of illness and disease and prevention by actually doing the work that we are doing right now. So I wanted to introduce today my special guest and friend, Frederick Kahn, and he is the founder of Slow Burn Fitness Revolution. It is a method of exercise that I will have him explain to us. And Fred and I, just a little background, he and I have been working together since like 2014. I have worked with many of his clients, have had significant success with his clients in helping them really achieve their fat loss goals. And if you Google Fred, he is all over the TV, has had many media highlights on him on all the major news channels. And he's written 2 books called The Slow Burn Fitness Revolution that talks about the slow motion exercise that will change your body in 30 minutes a week. And he can explain more about that. He also wrote a book called Strong Kids, Healthy Kids, and doing exercise training for children and adolescents. So without further ado, thank you, Fred, for joining us from New York City. He's sitting in his car because he's waiting for the
The
street
street
cleaners
cleaner.
to come by. So he's outside of his studio. But Fred, I'm so grateful that you can join us today. And I have the most respect for you. I have learned so much from you
Thanks.
in terms of exercise fitness, and a lot of my teachings have been inspired by the learnings that that I've been able to attain by working with you over the last 6 or 7 years. So thank you for being
Oh,
here.
well, flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
And I do want to say to everybody who's listening that Tina's right. Many of my clients have been very happy with the work that Tina has done with them, and she has really enhanced what I do in terms of, not just in terms of fat loss, but in terms of of how to approach and think about your health long term. So thank you, Tina, for all the help you've given my clients.
Yes, thank you. It's such a pleasure to work with you. And we've attended low carb conferences in the past and have learned together, as well as me learning from Fred, and he's been in the fitness industry for over 25 years. So he really is a guru in terms of exercise fitness and what that means in training thousands of clients. So, Fred, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about what if you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about slow burn fitness and what it is, and what is this exercise method, and how important is it, and so forth.
Mhm. Well, to be brief, slow burn is a form of resistance training or weightlifting or strength training. And strength training is really the only way to alter your body composition for the better. So while physical activity is great, like walking or riding your bike or swimming or playing tennis, anything like that, that's all wonderful. But those physical activities are not designed to cause what I call a positive tissue adaptation. So if you want to build muscle, build strength, increase muscle tone, build bone mineral density, and a host of other benefits that you get, strength training should be a part of your life. And if it is, you're going to play tennis better, you're going to play golf better, you're going to run better, you're going to walk better, you're going to play with your grandkids better. So it begs the question, if strength training is such a vital part of our life and should be a vital part of our lives, how should you do it? So slow burn answers the question of how can you do it safely? How can you do it time efficiently and still do it effectively? So I don't know how many of you have ever seen people do Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a martial art that's very mindful, for the most part, very slow and controlled. So we teach people how to lift weights like that in a very slow, very controlled, very mindful fashion. And because the system is so potent, you really only need to engage in 1 or 2 slow burn strengthening sessions a week in order to achieve the benefits, to get in stronger muscle, stronger bones, um, and so many other benefits that strength training provides. So that's pretty much what slow burn is in a nutshell.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are like 30 minutes or less. Why only 30 minutes, Fred? What is this fascination with exercising for only
Yeah,
30 minutes? How could that be possible?
yeah. Well, it's a great question. In fact, I was going to say something about that, but um, most people are unaware that the benefits of exercise are obtained when you're resting. So let's say you exercise productively on a Monday. You're not going to get the benefits of that exercise on Monday till Wednesday or Thursday. So that's really, in my book, I describe the difference between exercise and recreation. So if you want to go for a walk, you go for a walk every day. It's wonderful. You want to go for a swim every day. But when you're doing an exercise that is going to cause a positive tissue adaptation, you need to give your body time to rest and recover from that exercise. And the research on resistance training across the board shows that 2 sessions a week, really as little as 20 minutes tops, 30 minutes at the most, is all you need. So,
Great. Okay, so I mean, that defies a lot of people's myths about having to exercise like 5 days a week on the treadmill and being at the gym or out walking every single day. Basically, I mean, movement is very important, gentle exercise is important, but basically, what Fred is saying that is basically 5 days a week of exercising. You can actually end up over exercising, and it
you
will
can.
diminish your outcome in terms of weight loss or strength building muscle tissue, right?
And I just want to be clear so everybody understands, being physically active every day is fine. It's great. Get out in the sunshine, take a walk, breathe. All that is great. And the stronger you are, the better able you will be to do it. You'll enjoy it more. You'll take long walks with less knee pain, less back pain. So strength training done slow burn style safely enhances
Mhm.
improves upon your physical activity. And
Right.
sometimes it even makes people who don't feel able to be physically active, they strength train for a month or two, and suddenly they feel like, wow, I can really go for a walk. I can climb those steps. I can take a walk on the beach. So
Mhm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Fred. So, we're going to get into more of this, and I want you guys to chat in or put into the comments your questions. So, we will respond to those questions as we continue, but I'm going to share my screen again and take you through some examples of what this means. And I wanted to teach you today. Our lesson is about body composition. So, what is your body made of? Our body is made of muscle tissue, essential fats, storage fat, non essential fats that may be around our organs, bone, and other organs. And 60% of our body, our human adult body, is consists of water. And this is according to the Journal of Biological Chemistry. Our brain and heart actually consists of 73% of water, lungs 83%, skin 64%, muscles and kidneys 79%, and your bones 31%. And I'm going to show you today some examples of what body composition really means. So if you think about body types, there's kind of three main body types according to the fitness and exercise industry. An ectomorph, basically, you know, those people who are um, actually very skinny and lanky and tall. They may have a very narrow structure and small joints, wrists and ankles, and they have a thinner build. The mesomorph, which is kind of a medium build, might have wide clavicles or a narrow waist and thinner joints. And their muscles are shaped a little bit differently than an ectomorph. And then an endomorph, you know, those people who are kind of shorter and more blocky looking, they may have a thick rib cage and wider, thick joints. So everybody has a different body type. And our body composition all consists of the same thing. But when we actually lose body fat and gain muscle, you know, everybody loses weight differently. So I just wanted to kind of mention that in terms of the body types. Fred, do you want to say anything about this?
yeah, that's your good points. And I think with my clients especially, it's very important to understand that anybody, in talking about these somatotypes, anybody can improve upon their body. Anyone, by eating well and exercising properly, anybody can dramatically improve their body. But there's a certain limit to. So, for example, I personally, I have narrow shoulders. I'm never ever going to have very broad shoulders like Charlton Heston. I can develop muscular shoulders, but I can never have broad shoulders. So when you go into an exercise nutrition program, you have to have a realistic viewpoint. Don't expect to have what they call the perfect body. You have your body, and you can always make your body better.
Better.
So it's just having a realistic viewpoint. Some people have, they want to have like the body of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's 0.5% of all the people on the planet have the genetics to be that muscular. But because there's 6 billion humans on the earth, that means there are millions of people who can have that kind of body, but not everybody can. So it's just having a realistic viewpoint.
Good, thank you. So we hear often about BMI. What is BMI? So it's really not about body weight. When it comes to fat loss, it's not about your total body weight. And BMI is a measurement of body fat that's been established by the World Health Organization. And the formula is your weight over your height. Those are the only two factors in creating this measurement of BMI. And the thing is, if you look at just BMI, it actually doesn't really factor in body fat. And if you look on this little diagram to the right, so you have two people who are the same height and the same weight, they may have the exact same BMI, but the person on the left is only 24% body fat. But the person on the right is 36% body fat. The person on the right is carrying more body fat, but they both weigh the same. And this really comes down to body composition. And so BMI is one factor of measurement. It's one indicator, but it's not everything. It's not just about total body weight. Just like it's not just about calories, right? So healthy body fat, according to BMI, or, you know, they give you kind of ranges by age. So healthy body fat, you know, if you were to measure yourself, let me just, am I sharing?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. So basically, healthy body fat ranges for adults, let's say from 40 to 59, is anywhere from 25%, 20 to 25% to 35%. And that really depends on your body shape and basically where you are in terms of your age and health factors. So to be able to achieve healthy body fat ranges really depends on you. And one way to measure that is getting a bioimpedance scale. And I'm going to explain, Fred and I have used this device called the InBody machine, which is almost as accurate as a DEXA medical scan that actually measures your bone density, your bone mass, your lean mass, as well as your body fat. And so it's helpful to have a bioimpedance scale. Sometimes you could just even order that on Amazon. Like Weight Watchers has a bioimpedance scale, but the bioimpedance scale actually separates body fat count with lean mass. And that's a very important tool to have in your home. It's not as accurate as some of these machines that we've used before to actually really calculate, but it measures body water, and in that way, it actually can calculate your body fat range where you are. And I'm going to show you some examples. So again, these two people think fat loss, not weight loss, right? These two people are both 130 pounds, but basically one person has 20% body fat and then the other person has 35% body fat. So if you're really looking at, you can't really compare apples to apples. Obviously we have different body shapes and so forth. So we really have to use body fat as a measurement of success, and not think of weight loss, your total weight loss, but really thinking about weight loss from a fat loss standpoint.
Hey, Tina, could I point out one thing?
Sure.
On that previous slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just so that everybody's clear, the reason why one person has 20% body fat and one person has 35% body fat and they're the same weight is because the person on the left, the leaner person, has more lean tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why. So you look at it and go, well, how can the person on the left weigh as much as the person on the right? Muscle takes up a lot less space than fat.
Right.
So 5 pounds of muscle weighs the same as 5 pounds of fat. 5 pounds is 5 pounds, but 5 pounds of muscle takes up a much smaller area. So that's why the person on the left and the person on the right can be the same weight, because one has more fat and one has more muscle.
That's
or
right.
more lean tissue.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for that clarification. There was a question that came in that said, how is that possible unless one person is much taller than the other? And I think, Lisa, that what Fred just said actually answered your question. So basically, it's not so much about height, but but basically, if you are carrying more body fat, you actually you appear to be bigger because fat is taking up more volume in your body. Okay, so that's really why we want to measure body fat as an indicator.
And One other point there, Tina, that you pointed out earlier, which was a very good point, but we didn't get to it yet, is sometimes a person can appear very thin, like the person on the left,
Mm-hmm.
but actually be technically obese
Right.
because they have so little muscle mass. I have a client right now who's struggling with that. If you look at her, she's 5'9" and she looks lean, like she really doesn't have visually much body fat. But when I put her on the InBody machine, it said that she needed to gain, just to get to medical norms, she needed to gain 18 pounds of lean mass.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah, and that's rare, but it can happen. So,
Right. And especially if you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, this
yeah,
affects your bone density. This affects so much. What you do right now in terms of strength training and actually building up lean tissue can actually affect your
yeah.
strength and your ability to um, increase bone density even over time. So, Fred, can you speak on that actually, where how building muscle can actually improve bone density?
Well, in order to build muscle, you have to put your obviously your muscles and tendons under a certain amount of tension,
Mhm.
so that the body gets the idea that it needs to build more. So sort of like if a good analogy would be like the astronauts when they go out into space, into the space station. They're out there for 6 months. They come back, their bone density is decreased, their muscle mass is decreased, and they have to exercise to get it back. Conversely, if you could breathe on Jupiter and you lived on Jupiter for 6 months, you'd come back and you'd have 3 times the muscle density because the gravity is so strong. So by lifting weights, it's like you're increasing the gravity on your body. So when you lift weights properly, the muscles get under tension, the bones uh, bend, and they're stressed. And if they're stressed enough, they will remodel, and you will build more muscle and more bone, almost on a one-to-one basis.
Okay, there's another question that just came in. Teresa asks, what does gaining 18 pounds of lean mass mean? Will she actually
Oh,
put weight on, or is she, or just change out 18 pounds of fat for lean muscle?
uh, that's a good question.
Very
Um,
good.
it on this particular person, she needed to lose 16 pounds of fat and gain 18 pounds of muscle. So she would only wind up weighing 2 pounds more. And I think she weighed one. She's tall. She was like 5'9", 5'10". I think she weighed 142 or something. So if I could snap my fingers and she would have the correct body composition, she'd only weigh 144.
Yeah. So I'm going to, that's a great question, Teresa, and I'm going to show you some examples of what some of my clients have had success with. And this is an example of what an in-body report kind of looks like. And when we, at Fred's studio, and actually this in-body machine is available at most YMCAs that are kind of more progressive. They're at fitness studios, at the higher end fitness studios, that you can go in and actually get your in-body test and get a report like this, and get a pretty accurate reading in terms of how much lean body mass, which is your muscle mass, you have versus how much body fat you actually are carrying around. So this client had been working with me for about 6 months. And what's really cool about this is that she started her training with me, or her work with me, at 180 pounds. And we got her down to about 157 pounds, probably less than that because this report is kind of cut off. But 6 months during that time, she was able to lose over 20 pounds, over 20 pounds of body fat. So when we look at this kind of report, the things that I look at is how much body fat are they actually losing? And this is such a beautiful curve. I love seeing these reports where we're looking at the body fat. She started with 75 pounds of body fat. She weighed 180 total body weight. And she started with 75 pounds of body fat and went all the way, she shrunk her body fat all the way down to 54.9. So in the matter of 6 months, which is, you know, a little bit on the slower, pace, but basically over the course of 6 months, she actually lost 20 pounds of body fat. What a normal body fat loss through natural means, through changing your diet, is about a pound to a pound and a half a week. So actually, she was pretty much on track in terms of, you know, losing an average amount of body fat per week over the 20 weeks. And so what I love is this downscale, this down, you know, and basically you can initially see when you are actually changing your diets and actually cleaning up, changing from a high carbohydrate and high sugar diet, you actually you see like pretty dramatic shifts in the first month, month and a half, 2 months, right? And then basically, if you go into, you know, like at 59.5, she went down to 55.3. I'm looking at the body fat mass. And then she kind of started leveling out, kind of flattening out. And what happens over time, and I see this over and over and over again in terms of looking at these InBody reports, is for a while your body adjusts to the dietary changes that you're making in terms of eliminating or reducing high carbohydrate foods in your diet, cleaning up your diet in terms of processed foods and chemicals and all that kind of interference that can affect your fat loss. And also and so it may level out once you kind of, your body becomes accustomed to the way you're eating. But what happens is you continue to lose body fat week after week after week. And I love seeing that because it's just amazing. And
Tina,
yeah,
don't forget to point out the visceral fat, because
yeah,
that is extraordinarily important.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Teresa asked, how much of her weight loss is attributed to diet and what percentage was exercise? Great question, Teresa. I love that you're on because you ask such good questions. Actually, I would say 95%, actually almost 100% is nutritional, is attributed to her diet. And this client of mine really hated exercise. You know, so she really didn't even do that much strength training. You know, but she was generally able to maintain. If you look at the lean body mass line here, she started with 105 pounds of lean body mass and she went down to 102. And it appears that she actually lost muscle. But what happens over time is your body is regulating. So the lean body mass. Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Yeah. Well, I just want to point out that this particular machine, the results you're seeing, what it measures, this is not a DEXA scan. This measures total body water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So first of all, muscle is about 75-80% water.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to eat healthfully, meaning less sugar, less refined carbohydrates, your body is still gobbling up some of the glycogen, the sugars that you're not putting into your mouth, out of your muscle tissue. And the way sugar exits the muscle tissue is in a water molecule. So even though it says that they lost muscle or lean, they didn't actually lose lean tissue. They lost water out of their lean tissue. And fat also contains water. So when you lose body fat, you also lose water. So that minus 3.1 pounds of lean isn't actually minus 3.1 pounds of bone and muscle tissue. It isn't. It is just that it's actually showing us that she's complying with the nutritional requirements that Tina has for her. So it's actually a good sign. And if you could see more, if she's strength trained properly, you'd see that line start to go up and up and up and up and up.
Right. So the exercise component, if somebody were to be interested in building up lean body mass, we would be focusing more on that line over time. So adjusting their nutritional program, but also incorporating more strength training exercise. And we would be actually seeing a reverse curve. The lean body mass would go up and up and up as she is actually gaining muscle. So one thing that Fred mentioned again, the BMI, it shows a down curve, but again, it's not a true indicator of, what the true indicators. She lost 20 pounds of body fat. That is a pretty significant, and what that looks like on somebody, 20 pounds of body fat, that is multiple dress sizes. Okay. That's a bunch of dress sizes down to actually lose 20 pounds of body fat, so the volume.
And yeah, that is true. I want to mention, and not only is it cosmetically amazing, meaning you drop a couple of dress sizes, that visceral fat number, see the first one, 17?
Yeah.
On the InBody machine. So the physicians that use the algorithms to create, like, what does 17 mean? So the physicians that create the algorithms for this particular test, the visceral fat, anything above 10 puts you at a much, much greater risk for all-cause mortality, meaning heart disease, diabetes, and things of this nature. So if you look, she was at a 17. That is not good. And she got all the way down to 10, which means she's out of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So it, like that, what you did for her, literally, Tina, saved her life.
Yeah.
And made her look better.
Yeah, it is so amazing. And she really looked amazing. Everybody was like, what are you doing? And it's totally nutrition. Like I said, she hated exercise, but I had encouraged her to do the strength training and so forth. But yes, the visceral fat is the fat around your organs. It's the deep, deep fat that we don't actually see on our necessarily in our surface, but this is the fat around our organs that get built up as we have excessive sugar and carbohydrates, and we're continuing to store fat and create new fat cells as we are as we're increasing or if you're having excessive amounts of carbohydrates. So losing 5 visceral fat points is significant. And it's like, so, I mean, I've worked with clients who are over 200 pounds. And when they're over 200 pounds, at the max, like in the InBody test, is at 20. And sometimes that 20 does not even budge until you lose about 50 pounds almost. So what she was able to do is actually, right, Fred? Isn't that correct? Correct? Yeah. I mean, like, it's hard to move that visceral fat measurement. So can visceral fat be purely lost through exercise? Do you want to take that, Fred?
Yeah, no, actually it cannot. Actually, whenever exercise, no matter what exercise you do, it doesn't affect fat loss much, if at all. Because when you exercise vigorously enough to burn enough energy, the energy is coming from intramuscular sugar. It is not coming from body fat stores, as much as we'd like to believe it is. It is not. Exercise does not affect fat loss. Diet is pretty much 99, 100% diet, not exercise. What exercise does is build you up, build muscle, build bone, build metabolic rate. So don't think about exercise. When it comes to fat loss, exercise has nothing to do, virtually nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So here's another example. Within 4 months or less, actually, she might have worked with me for about 12 weeks. But here's this client who started at 190 pounds, and she lost a total weight of 14.2 pounds. And she was generally maintaining her lean mass, but she lost body fat. Again, this downslope, she started with 82 pounds of body fat on her. So do you understand, like 82 pounds of body fat is pretty significant. And she was able to downslope that body fat. This is purely through nutrition and her change of her dietary habits. So she was able to get it down to 70.3 pounds of body fat, and her percentage of body fat went down, her BMI went down, and her visceral fat went down 1 point as well. So this is another example of another client who is a totally different body composition, but what it shows is this gradual decline of losing body fat. And sometimes, you know, I can look at these tests and, like, for example, that it went, her body, if we look at the body fat mass, 82, 77, 75, 74, 73, she kind of bumped up to 75. That day, she probably had a bad day. She ended up having carbs that day or the day before. And that showed up.
Right.
That showed up on her InBody, or she had drank a few more glasses, a couple glasses of wine. And so
It's like a lie detector test.
it totally is a lie detector. I'm like, so what happened? What happened, Karen? Like, you know, you actually bumped up 2 pounds of body fat. To actually gain 2 pounds of body fat pounds, just think of 2 pounds and how heavy that is and what that looks like in terms of volume. So that was like a little vacation weekend that she went on, and it bumped up, but we got her back down down to 70 pounds of body fat. And she continued the decline. This is just a 4-month snapshot. I want to take another picture of a client who has had tremendous results. This is a 4-week timeline, which is crazy. And this client started off working with me at 200 pounds. She started off at 200 pounds. And basically, if you looked, her body fat was over 90 pounds of body fat. So more than 50% of her body, almost 50% of her body was body fat. You know, that's crazy. But basically, this is what I'm talking about in terms of volume. So she was able to bring down in 4 weeks 6.4 pounds of body fat, which is really, really significant. She lost, like, she basically, and within 4 weeks, you could just change, you could see visually the change in her face, the fat in her face and her neck. You could see that she said, now I can actually button my jacket, because she had big breasts, and basically she lost body fat, and you know, that she had excessively in her breasts. Everybody loses weight differently. Sometimes they lose fat in their breasts, they sometimes lose it in their butts, you know, in their thighs, however. But basically, it was just amazing. It's been so amazing watching this client, and she's been able to really, she's like been training at the Slow Burn Personal Training Studios, and she's maintained her lean mass, and she's still strong. And this is kind of remarkable results in 4 weeks timeline. And she's been able to drop her visceral fat 2 points in 4 weeks, whereas the other clients took, you know, 4 months to drop 1 point. The other one took 6 months to drop 5 points. And this client was able to drop 2 points of visceral fat in 4 weeks. This is truly, truly tremendous. And she's been completely compliant on my nutritional guidelines and program. And she's such a good student. She's so motivated. She really wants this. And she really wants to live a life that's truly, you know, fully in expression of herself. And she wants to sing, she wants to run races, and she wants to do all those things that she was unable to do because she was carrying such excessive amounts of weight. There was a question for slow weight training: is it better to lift heavier short reps or lighter and long reps?
Well, the research on strength training, you never want to lift heavy weights because it's dangerous, and there's no need to lift heavy weights in order to build muscle. So essentially, whenever you choose a resistance, like let's say you're going to do a biceps curl, You want to make sure that the weight that you choose allows for a minimum of about 1 minute's worth of repetitions. So you lift slowly, say you lift the weight in about 5 to 10 seconds, and you lower it in about 5 to 10 seconds. 60 seconds should elapse of continuous effort in order to make sure the weight's not too heavy. Once you can get to about 90 seconds, then it's time to make the weight a little bit heavier, sometimes even by just 1 pound, so that little by little over time you become stronger. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So for many years, actually, I trained at Slow Burn Personal Training Studios in Montclair, New Jersey, when I was living there at the time. And I can't tell you how much I love the program, because for 30 minutes, I exhausted and fatigued my muscle, and I felt amazing. And again, like Fred said, when you're strength training, you're actually not building muscle at that moment as you're strength training. You're breaking down muscle tissue during that exercise routine. It's only in the rest and recovery mode that you're actually rebuilding tissue. Your body's repairing, going back to homeostasis. Remember, I talked about that all this week, about your body always constantly readjusting to repair itself. And that's our beautiful system of body that we have. And how in the manner in which you eat during that rest and recovery period is so key in terms of having adequate amounts of protein to actually rebuild tissue. So a lot of people go into their exercise routine with tons of sugar, like they'll have a fruit smoothie, and that cracks me up, because they'll have this fruit smoothie and all this like carbohydrates and eat a bagel before they go into the gym. And the thing is, what your body is actually utilizing is the sugar that's burning off the carbohydrate, the bagel you just ate or the fruit that you just ate. So that's completely contradictory to what your body actually needs to rebuild tissue. And
now, Tina, can I say one thing real quick?
Sure.
I have a client that I have to train, do a little slow burn training at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So I need to, if there's any questions, Tina, if you have any questions for me, or if anybody else does, if there's anything else you'd like me to contribute, I'll have to do it right now, because I have to get back. And so I apologize.
I didn't realize what time it was. So Fred, can you tell everybody how they can learn from you more, how they can find you before you jump off? If you could just, I know Fred has 2 studios that are location specific, but go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, well, the best way to see what we do is to go to the website, which is slowburnpersonaltraining.com. And at the website, there are videos, there's explanations of the slow burn system, maps, shows you where we are and where we're located, and an email address also. Now, my personal email address, which I'm happy to give all of you, because you guys are with and working with Tina, which I hope you all will, is fhahn, F as in Fred, Hahn, my last name, at slowburnfitness.com. So feel free to email me any questions you might have, and I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Fred, for joining us today.
Okay.
I'm so grateful for you. And
thank you.
You're my mentor and guru and friend. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you guys.
All
Take
right.
care. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Fred.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So wasn't that great, you guys? Oh my God, he is so awesome. He truly is like the father of exercise in terms of this slow training method. And you could obviously go to Amazon and purchase his book called Slow Burn Fitness Revolution. He speaks, he speaks in front of audiences all the time. So I'm really grateful that he was able to join us during this time. And so again, so here we are. So Teresa asked, how much of your nutrition program for that client involved giving up bad carbs to get her to lose that visceral fat? How much of your nutrition program for that client? So I'm not can you clarify your question and how much of my nutrition program? So again, my nutrition program requires that you reduce your intake of excessive high carbohydrates. So that means like if, you know, and I again, I encourage you to schedule that one-on-one, because then I can give you very specific answers of where you need to take it to the next level. So everybody's in a different place, you know. If you're not so bad, you know, it might be just kind of reportioning things or re-looking at your macros. But in terms of giving, I prescribe and I recommend a low carbohydrate diet, and everybody's kind of in a different place. So it's hard to give one size fits all, but yes, I prescribe and recommend a low carbohydrate, low sugar diet. And I help people go from 200 pounds to 100, 150 pounds, losing 50 pounds of body fat over time in a healthful and more natural way than yo-yo dieting. And this is such a lifestyle training course, and basically you are able to retrain your habits and how you do things forever, so you don't have to diet again. It's not a diet. So, but yes, bad carbs actually should not be a part of your vocabulary. Does it have to be gone forever? No, actually, when you get to a healthy weight, you can actually introduce some things and still stay in control. And you can actually still stay in control and know how to navigate that. And a lot of my clients will lose 50 pounds of body fat, and they will still be able to lose that body fat loss by retraining their habits. And that's what's so cool about my program is it's about mindset, it's about habits, it's not just about what you eat. And if you just focus on what you eat or what you don't eat, that's just a diet, and that's only temporary. This is a life-changing program that I'm talking about. So I hope that answers your question. I encourage you to go to that Calendly link where you can book your one-on-one session with me. Go to tinyurl.com/unstoppable health. Give yourself that time to book that spot with me and apply, so you could be eligible for a full scholarship to my 6-week group coaching program. Apply, meaning we go through a health history with you. We actually talk about what's working, what's not been working, what your dietary habits are from a day-to-day basis. And we actually go through, it's almost like a full intake session. But during that time, I get to know a little bit about what you've been doing and how you can actually start making changes and what you should be focusing on. Like I said, everybody has a little bit of a different situation. Some people might be really challenged with emotional eating. Some people may just need a massage or a tweak of their macros. Some people actually need to figure out their timing of their eating. Some people actually, really do need to cut out a significant amount of what they're eating in terms of portions, but everybody's coming from a different place. So this one-on-one session to apply here is an opportunity for you to get specific about what your situation is. And I don't really take a one size fits all to everybody because it is very personalized. Everybody, again, everybody has a different body composition. Everybody has a different body shape. So I encourage you, this is an opportunity in my group coaching program, this health and weight, the Thrive Weight Loss Accelerator. We will go through this together. It's an affordable way because on one-on-one, I'm very expensive to work with on a personal basis. Like I put in significant amounts of efforts to help you navigate and problem solve for your day-to-days. Okay, so that's always an opportunity. If you work better with somebody one-on-one, I'm going to coach you through that. I'm going to help you go through very specific challenges almost on a day-to-day basis to help you navigate your habits and your mindset and the food that you eat. On a one-to-one private program, you get it all in terms of my time and efforts. But in this group, you also get it all packaged up with group accountability and support. And typically I charge more than, close to $1,000 or more for a 6-week program in a group format. And this is your opportunity to take advantage of this. And so you can join this program through application by booking that one-on-one spot with me. It's a free opportunity to get what you want in terms of really the answers of how you're going to focus on your next steps. And if you apply and you get accepted into my program, you get 2 free one-on-one private sessions. Those are invaluable sessions that we talk about everything from supplements to timing of eating to emotional eating, whatever the issue is that you're most troubled with, that you have the biggest struggle with in terms of your habits, in terms of meal prep, all of that stuff. You get to have 2 huge sessions with me to problem solve around your biggest struggles. And believe it or not, those are breakthrough sessions. Every session is a breakthrough session. And this first one, in booking your one-on-one at tinyurl.com, Unstoppable Health, is your opportunity to really help me see what's going on with you and help me to investigate and actually see and discover with you what might be holding you back and what's really been the problem all along. So really apply for that one-on-one, book your spot now. I've opened up spots over the next week or so. So there should be spots available. Okay, so back to this. I want you to take your day 4 action, take your measurements, weigh yourself, give me your total body count. That's okay, because you might not have a bioimpedance scale. And I want you to set a goal. What is the goal? What's the next goal for the next 2 weeks? What's the next goal for the next month? Just think about it. You're here in the beginning of January. So February, where do you want to be? If a normal amount of fat loss is about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week, some people who are significantly higher in weight, over 200 pounds, will show more drastic weight loss initially. But again, just set a goal, set an initial goal, book that one-on-one with me, and I will talk to you about how realistic that goal is and how you can get there even faster. Okay, so think about, where will you be in February? Where will you be in March? And basically set that goal, put the day 4 action, put it into comments. When you declare your intentions out loud and declare it to the world, you're so much more able to be accountable to yourself. Okay, so think about that. When you actually declare it to the world, your family members, that you're committed to your health, and this is how you're going to be committed, you will actually be so much more successful. And when you have an accountability partner and a partner to journey with you on this, you will, I promise you, will accelerate your results than going at it alone. So thank you again, Fred Hahn, for joining us today. And he's gone now, but I'm so grateful that he was able to join. Give me one takeaway before you guys jump off the line. Chat it into the chat box of what did you get from today? What was the most important thing? And everybody might have a different takeaway, but what was the most important? Think about, what did you learn today that was the most important thing to you? Put it into the chat. Put it into the chat. What was the most important, one key takeaway that was so important to you that you learned today? Anything? Anybody? There was so much. I know there was so much. It's hard to choose what was the one takeaway, right? I know, I'm just bombarding you with so much. Muscle fat balance. All right, that's good. My huge aha moment was that the exercise does not affect fat loss. Yay, Teresa. That was my whole point of this today. And weight training in general never focused on that at all. You guys, you have just scored a $1 million training today, okay? This is the best of the best of the best in terms of what is real out there. Don't just believe in everything you have in terms of hype, in terms of the diet programs. This is the real deal. This is real science. So Lisa says, my weight loss has to be set as a personal viewpoint. Yes. And there is no one size fits all. Everybody has different body shapes. You know, everybody's in a different place. Everybody has different interference. And it really has to be a personalized thing that you will actually be able to investigate on your own, or with accountability, can actually accelerate your goals. So I'm so grateful that you guys joined me today. Am I running over time? Probably. I hope you got so much out of today's session. If you're watching on the replay in the group, please give me a comment below. Give me show up and give me your one key takeaway that you watched on the video. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is about putting all this together. Get your game actions, your daily actions in this week, because tomorrow I am going to, if you get all your daily actions, I'm going to announce a winner for one full scholarship. And book by tomorrow noon. I want you to book that one-on-one session. Book that one-on-one session, because you're not going to be eligible for my full scholarship program, because I won't even know that you're even interested in it. So book that one-on-one session before noon tomorrow, and get your day 1 through 4 actions in. And tomorrow we'll wrap up with putting your game plan together. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Get outside, breathe. Practice your breathing, get centered, and really think about what your goals are going forward, and what you want, and how it's going to change the next 20 years of your life, having an unstoppable mind and body. I love you guys. I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Peace to you, and God bless you. And I will see you tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow, because we're going to put it all together. See you soon. Questions below if you have any.